but I'm bullish on the immediate impact Johnson will have in getting Williams on track this season. Count Moore and Odunze in this category as well.
There's another section of this, too, of one team, coach, or player who will break out in 2025. And Matt Bowen says Rome Odunze. Under Ben Johnson, I expect Odunze to elevate his game as a 3-level target for Caleb Williams. And with Keenan Allen likely heading to free agency, Odunze will see a bump in volume as the number 2 opposite DJ Moore. I think that is the most important connection that has to flourish in Bears training camp and in the offseason.
Yeah.
Those two need to get on the same page.
I would agree.
Because DJ Moore will figure it out. He's a veteran. I think he's going to have a good year as well. But if you can unlock Rome Odunze and turn him into either another number 1 wide receiver or one of the best number 2 wide receivers in the NFL, that can unlock so much more for this team.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good point.
And then Kaler says, who you've heard on with Waddle and Sylvie before, that Caleb Williams.
Yep.
Caleb Williams can be the breakout guy in the second year. If the Bears improve their offensive line, I expect Williams to have the season we all thought he would have in 2024, pushing himself into the same conversation as Jaden Daniels. Johnson will coach him harder and free him up so he feels ownership of the offense. I think that's a good one, too.
Eric Moody wrote the Bears in general. Because they asked them to pick one team, coach, or player who's going to break out next year. So there's a lot of Bears love in this section, like you said. Mm-hmm. Moody talked about the Bears landing the best head coaching candidate in Johnson. Field Yates went with Caleb Williams. He wrote, I overestimated the infrastructure in place for Chicago. I overestimated the infrastructure in place in Chicago for Williams' rookie season, but I'm bullish on the immediate impact Johnson will have in getting Williams on track this season. Count Moore and Odunze in this category as well. So there's a lot of Bears love in that one.
I think that the Bears could be – I think that what we have here at the station will somewhat carry over to the national media, where I've heard you say it and Sylvie say it and Waddle say it, that I'm not going to pick a Bears over ever again.
Done.
Listen, if they set it at 7.5, I'm going over.
I'm done. I won't. I seriously won't.
You got to pick a number.
There are other bets to make. First of all, I think in all my life gambling, and I think I've bet the Bears season win total twice.
Yeah.
I know better. I don't bet the Bears in general, mostly because it is sort of hard to sometimes remove your heart because we're so closely associated to the team and we care about them in a way that I don't care about the other teams. It's easier to handicap. It's easier to look at X's and O's. It's easier to look at, all the things that go into handicapping a game, all the data, like just use your head. With the Bears, it's hard. I don't bet Bears games very often, and I certainly don't bet futures positions on them very often. I think I've done it twice. I've lost both. I bet they're over 2 times in my life. I lost both times.
See, I feel
One
like
time the over was 6.5.
I understand.
Okay, so they could set it at 6 next year, and they won't. Vegas won't. It'll probably open 7.5 or 8.
I think it'll open 7.5. Yeah,
I'm not betting it. I can tell you right now, I will not bet it. I'm done.
I think that the season one, you're right, but I feel like betting Bears games to me is insider trading. Like, I feel like we know more, and so I've made money betting against the Bears. I've made money betting on the Bears because they're good. They were a decent cover team. They lost 7 one-score games last year, so they were a decent cover team last year. I think also if you look at this article, the teams that are going to take a step back, Fowler says the Vikings, Maldonado says the Lions, Reed says the Vikings. There's Theory says the Lions, Tenenbaum says the Vikings, and Field Yates says the Lions as well. I think that happens, and I think that benefits the Bears, which is why, look, if they go in, to finish my thought about the win total, if they go into free agency and they sign Trey Smith, who Field Yates mentions again in this piece, if they sign Drew Dahlman, you've got 2 veterans on your offensive line that we know are productive, and if they take some form of swing on a defensive end, whether that's Micah Parsons, whether that's Myles Garrett, whether that's trading up if, Abdul-Jabbar Carter falls down. It's his middle name, people. Look it up. I'm not making it up. Abdul-Jabbar Carter falls down to 5 or 6, and maybe, Ryan Poles moves up in the draft a little bit. We know he looks into doing it. He tried to move up for Rome Odunze until Ian Cunningham had to pull him back and say no.
Right, no, don't.
So if they make some form of swing at defensive end, I could see the Bears being a sexy wild card pick for people.
I could too.
I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
I'm not doing it.
I think they could be a wild card team that way. I think, look, they beat the Packers once. They've played the Lions close, the Vikings close. I think both those teams are going to have down years. The Lions lost 7 coordinators. The Vikings are starting a rookie quarterback. We don't know what that's going to look like. And the Packers are beatable.
Packers have the same record in the division as the Bears did.
Yeah.
Go figure. I get it. I hear you. I hear all of it. I do. And maybe we were just a year too early on all of this. We were way too bullish. First of all, I should have my head examined, betting they're over and picking them to win 9 games when I knew
we all did, though.
I knew they shouldn't have brought the coach back.
That's why we're eating hot dogs. We all did.
But we all knew they shouldn't have brought the coach back. We all knew it.
Yeah.
And we said it. At least most of us did.
But then he got the glow up. We saw it.
We knew they shouldn't have brought the coach back.
You saw the beard, man?
We knew they had nobody opposite Montez Sweat. We knew it. Mm-hmm. We said it 1,000 times. And then there we are again because we love the Bears and we love football and it's September and we're making picks. Bears wild card 9-7 or 9-8, I guess now.
Yeah. Yeah.
We all did it.
Yeah.
And we knew, why are you bringing this coach back? What are you doing? What are you thinking? Why don't you have another defensive end opposite of Montez Sweat? I actually thought their O-line would play better. I missed on that one badly because that O-line certainly did not play better. That O-line was terrible, and they were very beat up, and they moved guys in and out, and they had a huge headache on their hands with Nate Davis before they finally waved goodbye to him. I didn't anticipate the O-line to implode the way it did, so I missed on that one. But there were other things. They were staring us in the face. And we just have a tendency to ignore it when we start picking wins on the schedule and we think, this is going to be Caleb supported better than any rookie's ever been supported. Wrong. And it all started with their decision to bring the coach back a year ago. Let's face it, because that led them to Shane Waldron. It was one disaster after another. So were we a year too early? You're probably right. This seems so much better. It does.
I do think that the pendulum could swing back in their favor of the 7-1 score losses, that they could win a couple more games.
You'd think like the variance in there would tell, like the regression or the progression in there would tell you that you're right, that's probably not going to happen again. You're right.
We haven't seen the schedule, obviously, the way it works out. If they've got 3 games in 10 days or something like that we've seen before, obviously things can change. But they won 5 games. I don't see how, if you make the proper signings in free agency that are very obvious and we can all see them, if you've got Ben Johnson, you should have better coaching. You have a better defensive coordinator, I believe, in Dennis Allen than you have in Matt Eberflus, because the reports were that the Colts might have fired him before the Bears hired him. So he was going to be on the street regardless. I think that can translate to 3 more wins at 8.
7 of their losses, of their 12, were by 1 score. You're right. You had a stupid block field goal. You had a crazy Hail Mary.
Yeah.
All right.
Timeouts.
What do you guys think if you want to react to some of the survey that we were just talking about and, make your bold 2025 NFL predictions already? The season's not even a week old. I love it. See, we're crazy about the NFL. This is like the way they talk about hockey up in Canada.
It's better than people yelling at me for wanting to trade Cole Kmet or cut Cole Kmet.
I might get to you at some point on that one.
Get to me.
It's funny. One of my buddies who's a diehard fan of the station, you've probably even met him before, diehard fan of the station. He's a friend of the show. He texted me last night. He said he was catching up on the podcast, and he almost drove off the road with your line about Cap yesterday.
Oh.
He goes, I almost drove off the road when Abdalla dropped that line, and he said it almost makes up for his ridiculous take 2 days ago on Cole Kmet.
It's not a ridiculous take.